Welcome back to A Drop of Happy, your space for stress, well living, and entertainment. This is your drop of calm, clarity, joy, and fun. I am your host, Wanda Toby, and this is going to be another episode, another review episode, and we are going to talk about You, Me, and Tuscany, which is now available to rent or purchase on streaming platforms. It is not free as of yet, but it is a romantic comedy. The theater debut kind of met with, I would say, a tepid reception in April. The box office performance was disappointing, to say the least. With the charming rom-com pulling in 22 million worldwide. I think the budget was 18 million, but with that it's still a negative because, as you know, the movie budget does not include the marketing budget. So it did not do as well as, of course, I would have liked it to do. And I'm sure the people Packard, Will Packard, and people who put their time and money and effort would have liked it to do. But I feel like it's going to be like a streaming sleeper. I don't know. I have seen it in theaters twice. And truth be told, if I had the time before it was like out of the theaters, I would have seen it more. I would have seen it again. Um, because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was light and cute and funny and just a pleasure to watch. So I am partial to rom-coms. I will say that. I expect the predictability. I appreciate a happy ending. If y'all, I know I get new listeners all the time, and my new listeners don't know that I refuse to watch tragedies unless it's like an apocalyptic type movie, disaster type movie, or stuff like that. But just like a drama that ends in sadness, your girl ain't watching it. It crossed it off my list. So I appreciate a happy ending. Okay. What do you do when your life is falling apart? That is the question. And that is the situation that both Anna and Michael, which are the main love interests in this, they have to face after losing loved ones. And they each faced it very differently. So Yumi and Tuscany does follow Anna, played by Halle Bailey. I always want to say Halle Berry. That's a tongue twister. No, it's Halle Bailey. She was the Little Mermaid. And it basically kind of follows her as she navigates her life after losing her mom. The film stars Regé-Jean Page, whatever. Aziza Scott, Lorenzo de Moor, Marco Calvani, Nia Vardalos. She did a cameo. She's my big fat Greek wedding. That was her thing, which I love my big fat Greek wedding. And I saw a clip where they were talking about because of the family piece of it, it kind of had like my big fat Greek wedding undertone vibes feeling, but not exactly. It was just really the family piece. So I thought it was a good cameo, and it was nice to see her in a thing. And Stella Pecollo, I hate one. I'm so sorry. And I really loved the chemistry of the cast altogether. They were fun. They were heartwarming. Uh, Again, I'm going to say that I am extremely biased because I do love anything with a romance spin. So this being a romance, rom-com, whatever, is right up my alley. I'm also a big fan of Halle Bailey. Big fan, huge fan. Here's the thing, been a fan since her and her sister's first album. Still have the album. Their first two albums, listen, so good, so good. And I really wish, this is a side note, I really wished her sister Chloe, would have stayed in that kind of style. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Anyway, I'm a big fan. So I'm a little biased, I will admit. Now, there's nothing special about this movie compared to other romance films. Okay? For me, I found Halle and Reggae's chemistry was really, really cute, was just what was needed for this film. Okay. I really found her chemistry with Mateo really good too. So for me, there was a lot of special aspects. But overall, my daughter was just like, girl, it could have been on Lifetime or the Hallmark Channel. The disrespect. So it did get a 66% from Rotten Tomatoes and 6.2 from IMDb, which I'm like, all right, it's not totally off. It's accurate. My rating is an 8. Okay? Whatever. My rating is an 8. All right? For me, there was just something special about it. Okay, my daughter thinks it could have been on the Hallmark or Lifetime. I can't wait for it to come out on streaming. I might even buy it. It was just something about it that I really enjoyed. I thought the pacing worked very well for me. The comedic timing of the cast was spot on, especially Francesca, who was played by Pecollo. She was hilarious. She was cute. She was adorable. She just brought a little something to me, and I really really enjoyed her. I really, again, I already said the chemistry with the whole cast was really good and really there. The acting was rom-com acting, so it wasn't bad. It was just regular. There was some poignant moments in it, but it was, listen, I have no doubt that had the cast been given more depth or whatever, that they would have been able to pull it off. But this was a rom-com. So they did what they were supposed to do. It gave what it was supposed to give. All right. I also love the setting. It was bright. It was airy. It was inviting. Book me the next flight to Tuscany, please. Okay. I want to go. All right. So loved it. Enjoyed it. If you don't like spoilers, if you're going to watch it and you don't want to stick around for spoilers, then spoilers are coming. Okay, so it starts off with Anna basically losing her job. So it follows Anna, who, after losing her mom, kind of gave up on all of her dreams, which included going to Tuscany, but also included cooking. She was in culinary school, but didn't finish because her mom had passed away. What at the time the movie starts, she is a house sitter, and she ends up losing that job because she's over here wearing the ladies' clothes. Like, she stepped, instead of just stepping into the house, she was over here stepping into the people's lives, which is a little foreshadow of the shenanigans she gets herself into later on. Right? That was a little hint that she's not above doing stuff like that. So the lady comes home, and that's the cameo by the Greek wedding lady. She's like, what you doing in my clothes? What you doing in my stuff? Get out. It's time for you to go. So she loses her job. And she goes, her best friend works at a hotel, and she's like, listen, can you get me a room? Can you hook me up? Da-da-da, just for the night, whatever. And the friend is just like, you are going to get me fired, and I'm pregnant, and I can't be getting fired right now. And she's like, well, go to the bar. The bartender will help you charge your thing. Go to the bar. So at the bar, she meets Mateo. But at first, she's not even sweating Mateo. She's like, whatever, right? I think Mateo tries to get her attention, but she's like, pump your brakes, pause, leave me alone. So anyway, then somehow he brings up Tuscany. Somehow they start chit-chatting, and it goes really well. Their little chit-chatting. They really hit it off, and as I had mentioned before, they have this cute little chemistry going on. Anyway, Mateo ends up inviting her for a nightcap. This is after they've kind of chit chatted all night, kiki, all cute. They take a picture together. He told her all about his place in Tuscany and how he has a whole villa that is just left there and the reason why he doesn't live there and blah, blah, blah. Like they hit it off. Like they are vibing, okay? So then he's just like, yo, you want a nightcap? And she's like, huh. She's probably thinking, psh, I don't got nowhere else to be, and you fine, and we hit it off. This is great, yes, and it's been a while. It's been a while. So, bet. So go up to the room. She's like, okay, I'm gonna freshen up a bit. So she gets herself together. When she comes out, he is knocked out, sleep. He did say he had jet lag and he was really tired, blah blah blah. But bruh is sleep, and she is disappointed. So then she kind of whatever takes is like scrolling to his phone, and then she sends her whatever the picture, she sends herself some of his pictures, okay. Then she goes to sleep because she's like, well, I'm staying here. This is what I'm thinking. Well, I'm staying here because I ain't got no place to stay anyway, so maybe again I'm adding extra flavor because she's like, maybe he'll wake up in the middle of the night and we might continue where we left. Okay, again adding extra flavor here. What does happen is when she wakes up, Mateo is gone and he leaves a note. He's apologizing for dipping on her. And he's just like, yo, go after your dreams, whatever, whatever. And he says, hey, you can stay, order, help yourself. I mean, not, just for the rest of the day or whatever. So it is at this point that she decides, oh, I'm going. I'm going. So her best friend is like, ma'am, do you have a plan? No, she doesn't have a plan. She got nothing. So she goes, but guess what? Now she wasn't planning on staying at that man's villa, but what had happened was, again, she did not make prior arrangements. So she thought, oh, I'm just gonna go and get a hotel. No hotels. Everything is booked. She's starving, she's tired, somebody tries to run her over, and then somebody steals her what she thought was gonna be her lunch, and it turns out it is Michael. Is this fine she don't know it's Michael yet, but it's this fine caramel chocolate. Again, she doesn't know who he is, but she's not like, she's just like, I know this dude didn't almost run me over and took my sandwich. Anyway, she's like, you know what? I need a place to stay. So she's like, oh, I remember that this villa is whatever. So she goes to the villa and she lets herself in. She finds a key and she lets herself in. There's an opera singer singing. She wakes up. But what happened was Mateo's mom and grandma comes to clean the thing. Mind you, she's been looking through this man's house, whatever. She finds the ring. She puts the ring on. She's not even thinking about it. So they're like, yo, who are you? What are you doing in here? We about to call the police. You robbing, whatever. And she's like, no. She's trying to explain. And then the mom sees the ring and she's like, oh my God, this is a perfect explanation. You're engaged to Mateo. And she's, she's going to ride along with it. She rides along with her being engaged to Mateo. And then things escalate because she's like, oh my gosh, you got to meet the family. Mind you, okay, she meets Lorenzo. And I should have mentioned Lorenzo because Lorenzo is a very cute character in the movie. So when she's trying to get to that little town, she's trying to find a ride. And Lorenzo ends up being her ride because he's he's cost effective and he has this little cute little tiny ass car. And so she meets Lorenzo. So Lorenzo becomes like her friend. And so she calls Lorenzo when she wants to talk. She also calls at one point. She's like, oh my gosh, I gotta leave because I'm lying to these people. And then Lorenzo was like, well, just tell them the truth, or you're gonna be gone in 5 days or whatever. Ride it out. So she kind of decides to ride it out. And then she meets Michael. Then they start googly eyeing each other and stuff like that. she's like, Michael comes to give her a tour, and so they kind of get closer on the tour and they learn more about each other and things. Is really cute. She also gets to meet the family, which the family is super cute, and they're funny, but it's not without drama because they're like, oh, maybe Mateo will come back. They're very upset that Mateo has left. Then Mateo meets, not Mateo, Jesus, Anna meets Mateo's childhood friend, but it's actually Mateo's ex-fiance. So she, she calls Mateo and was just like, yo, your fiance's here, blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm adding flavor. This is how I'm imagining the conversation went. You over here, you got married, you got engaged, we just broke up, you left without saying anything. I can't believe you. This is what I imagined the conversation was. So Mateo was just like, what the heck? So he came back. When he comes back, he finds Anna in his bed and he's like, yo, what are you doing here? Oh no, you got to come and tell them the truth. You got to come and tell them that you made all this up, and I'm not going to do it because they already hate me. I'm going to seem like the bad guy. So they go to tell, and she's ready to tell the truth. But then they love Mateo. Mateo was like, ooh, I can't mess this up. So now Mateo's in on pretending that they were engaged for real, for real. And he's just like, yo, we could ride this out. Then we could go back to New York, and then we could tell them we're broken up. Like let's make this happen. This could work out in my favor. She's like, whoa, this wasn't part of the plan. And this is where you start to see that Mateo, when Mateo comes back, like that night, he kind of goes out with the boys and is kind of hanging out with the boys, whatever. But this is where you see Mateo really doesn't fit. Like, this is where you start to see the contrast between Mateo and Michael, and how Mateo, like, you could understand why Mateo actually left, because you kind of get to see a contrast. Like, he is out of place. His heart is not there, like you could tell. And he kind of like ditches Anna, basically. Like, he could have taken her with him to go hang out with the boys, but in reality, at first when I was watching it, I was like, well, why he ditch her like that? But in reality, they're pretending. Like, I feel like if that was really his girl, he would have been like, yo, I'm going to hang out. I want you to meet them and stuff like that. But that wasn't the case. So in his mind, he's literally just going to hang out with his boys and his ex Flame. Anyway, Mateo's dad ends up in the hospital because he fell and bumped his head, or he had a heart attack. I can't remember, but something happened. But he's just like, oh, I'm still going to cook. And his mama's, and people are like, no. But they know that Anna cooks, so they're like, you can help. Well, she's not helping because his mom said you can't cook at all. So now Anna is left to cook by herself. So now she's making all these arrangements and stuff like that, trying to cook. Of course, she successfully comes up with a meal because, it's his TV code. And while she's doing all that, Mateo is nowhere to be found. Michael's helping. He's there solid. Then he sees Mateo kissing the ex. And he's like, what the heck? So before this, they have a festival where they do the barrel race. And again, you see the tension because Mateo and Michael usually do the barrel race together and they usually win, but not this time. So you see the kind of tension. It was havoc. It was crazy. They lost badly because really, again, it's because, to me, it's because Mateo's not about that life. So that contributes to it. Anyway, fast forward. The night ends. It's successful dinner. They all loved it. And as the night ends, they're like, yo, Mateo, where were you? And then Michael is like, you were kissing another woman. Of course, this is after Mateo comes, because Mateo is about the plan. Mateo comes and tells the family, oh, we're going back to New York, because somehow they thought that he was staying and that they were staying, which, to be fair, was never discussed. Assumptions were made. And Mateo was like, no, we're going to go back to New York and then we're going to tell them we broke up. Like, that's it. So it was then that Michael was just like, yo, but you were kissing a homegirl over there anyway. And they start to get into a fight, and Anna can't take it anymore, and she confesses. She's just like, yo, I lied. We were never engaged, blah, blah, blah. And Michael gets mad because, first of all, how does everybody know that Michael is in love with this chick? The daddy, the grandma, like everybody knows, okay? So anyway, and the daddy's just like, psh, did you love that girl? Like, get what you want. And Michael's like, yo, that's Mateo's girl. This conversation happened prior to the big brawl and stuff like that. So the big brawl happens. Anna confesses, and then she's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go, because obviously, like, made a big boo-boo, made a big mess out of things. She's just gonna go. So at the bus station, who comes is the grandma, because the grandma was always suspicious of her, but then of course she grew. She brought the family together. So the grandma was just like, yo. Basically, the grandma was just like, you need to get your man. Like, what are you doing? You running? Like, stop playing. And then the whole family comes and is like, hey, we love you. We need you to stay. Then she goes to the vineyard and she finds Michael and they make up. And it's super, super cute. But here's the thing. Anna and Michael had a lot in common because he lost his parents. Anna lost her mom. And that was it. That was like the only family that she had. But what was interesting was Michael was just like, oh, I ran towards the responsibility, where Anna, she kind of fell into chaos. He fell into order and took on more responsibility, took on the vineyard and all, vineyard, whatever, and all that. And she just kind of just fell apart. So they handled their grief in two different ways, obviously. Mateo, again, it was so evident, him being back, that he is not about that life. He needs to go and do his thing. Taking over the family business is not in the cards for him. And I want to say it was a lack of maturity, but at the same time, maybe you do have a level of maturity to know that this is not for you. So at first, I was really annoyed with his behavior, but upon reflection, that wasn't his life. And in him leaving Anna behind, if that was really his girl, I don't think he would have done that. So at first I was like, Mateo is whack, but afterwards I'm like, well, he's not so much whack. Again, there were lovely comedic elements, lots of reasons to enjoy this when it comes out, when it's available free right now. You can buy it or you can rent it. And that's your drop. Take what you like, leave the rest, and move gently into whatever comes next. If you enjoyed this entertainment moment, share it with someone who could use a little fun today. Like, share, subscribe, and do all the things, pretty please, with sugar on top. And remember to live light and happy.